Hey guys, I'm back with another one, and today I'm in my room because I want to be. So, you need to forgive, okay? You need to forgive to unlock your blessings. And what do I mean by that? So, over the past like week or so, I've been getting a lot of different messages on forgiveness and why it is very important for just me in general to forgive, and I'm here to tell you you need to forgive, okay? So a lot of times when things have happened to us, when we've gone through traumas or just different things in life, right? Exes, ex-friends, relationships, whatever you've been through, right? A lot of times we carry that hurt and that pain with us. Okay, so we're going through life and we're carrying the pains of things from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, sometimes 20 years ago, right? And sometimes we don't realize that we're holding all of this in. So sometimes we can think like, oh, well, I've forgiven them, I've moved on. But a lot of times you have not forgiven whoever did you wrong, or whoever, kind of betrayed you in a way. And I know it's easier said than done, right? When somebody do you dirty, you don't really want to forgive. You really don't want them, because you in your mind, you're thinking, I'm giving them a second chance, or I'm giving them a pass. But I'm here to tell you that forgiveness is not for the other person. The forgiveness is for you. And forgiveness does not mean that you have to go and be cool with this person and chill and talk with this person and be in their energy. Forgiveness means that you release what was done, what they did to you. You release that, and you also forgive yourself in that, and you say, I forgive myself for whatever part I played in this, right? Whether you were naive, whether you were doubtful, whether you were just blatantly, just foolish, whatever the case, you have to forgive yourself, because a lot of times we're angry with the person because we are mad really at ourselves, right? So when you start to forgive, right? Because the Bible does speaks of us, blessing those that, are enemies, right? We're supposed to pray for our enemies. And this is not an easy thing to do. Okay. So I don't want you to think it's going to just be a 1-2, oh, I forgive you. No, this is not an easy thing to do. But I'm telling you, when you start to do this, God will, he can unleash the things that he has for you. He can start to bless you in your life when you start to let go of those people that's hurt you, because we don't realize how when we hold on to that hurt and that pain and that trauma and that unforgiveness, right, and that bitterness in our heart, we are literally we're holding ourselves from growth. We're holding ourselves from getting to the next level. Okay, so forgiveness does not release this person. Okay, God handles all, right? That's why it says vengeance is mine. So he does not want us to hold this person and hold ourselves up. We're holding ourselves up, right? Because God is going to do whatever God is going to do, right? He's going to handle the situation. So nobody gets away with anything. Let me be very clear. Nobody gets away with anything. Okay, what you reap is what you will sow in a different season. So when you are forgiving somebody, don't think like, oh, they're just going to get away and they just got over on whatever they did to me. No, that's not how it works. Okay, they are going to still reap what they sow, and in due time, God will deal with that person. But forgiveness is so that you can release yourself, because you're stuck. You might be stuck in a timeline. I didn't even realize that I had trauma from 15 years ago still stuck inside of me, 20 years ago still stuck inside of me, right? From things as a kid, right? But once I started to pray and I started to ask God, like, who do I need to forgive? He started to bring up a whole lot of things that I was holding in, pain that I was holding in. And now that I've done that, I feel much more, I feel free. I feel much more released. Okay, so a lot of times we get triggered by certain things that we're not realizing that those triggers are, that you could be triggered by something, right? And not even realize that that trigger is from something from 10 years ago, from somebody hurting you as a kid, from somebody saying one thing that you carried on with you all this time. So when I say forgive, I'm not saying, hey, forgive and just forget. No, we don't forget. Okay. We forgive and we release them back to their God. We release them back to the Lord and we say, Lord, you have your will in this. I let this person go. Right. Because at the end of the day, we want the Lord to forgive us. Right. We want him to give grace and mercy on us. Right. So we have to realize that forgiveness is always for us. It's never about the other person. It's always for us. So when we are forgiving, we're saying, hey, you know what? I forgive you for what you did. All right. And I release you back to your father and I let it go. From here on out, I won't cry over this thing. Or I might cry over it. I'm a crybaby. I might cry over it. But I'm not going to hold you to it. And I'm not going to be constantly cursing you or constantly waiting for the ball to drop on you, right? Constantly waiting for you to get your revenge, right? Constantly waiting for you to feel how I felt in a situation. Okay. God has a funny thing of bringing things full circle. So sometimes we think that people just got away with things. We think, oh, it's been 10 years and they never got their karma. Trust me, you never know how God has worked in a person's life, and you never know when it's going to be the appointed time for God, for them to reap what they've sown. Okay. So do not think about that. Forgiveness is going to release you from that place that you're stuck in, because you're stuck there. Okay, you are stuck reliving this trauma. You are stuck reliving this hurt. You are stuck reliving this pain, this betrayal, whatever the case. You are stuck there, and God cannot, he cannot move you forward. Okay, he literally, a lot of times our blessings are connected to us learning to forgive. All right. Our blessings a lot of times are connected to us learning to forgive. So once we show God that, hey, we can be the bigger person in the situation and we can forgive and we can let this person go, now God can trust us with more. All right. So I know it's not going to make sense. And this is why the Bible, it tells us not to lean on our own understanding. We don't understand, well, why do I have to forgive this person? Why? Why do I have to forgive? I don't want to forgive. Well, you need to in order for you to be free. Okay. So it's certain things that God cannot do in you if you are still bound to this. I'm not going to forgive, and in your own time. Okay, so I'm not saying do it now or you're just doomed. No, you do it in your own time. You ask God to help you. Pray on it, constantly pray on it. Ask God, hey God, I'm having a hard time forgiving this person, can you help me? And you also ask him, who do you need to forgive? Because sometimes we think we've forgiven somebody and we didn't, because as soon as that person name come up, we start talking about what they did to us. Okay, and I can tell you it's specific people, right? Before I started doing this, as soon as you bring their name up, I'm like, oh yeah, because such and such, yeah, I remember when he did this, I remember when he said this, oh, I remember when she did this, I remember. It's like, you need to let that go. That is, you are stuck in that trauma and in that pain, and God wants you free, and it's time for you to get out of that. Okay, it's time for you to live a life. It is like a weight is lifted off of you when you give it back to God and you say, you know what? I forgive this person and I let it go. I don't want nothing to do with this person anymore, right? I don't want to talk to this person anymore, right? Respectfully, right? But I am no longer waiting for the ball to drop on their heads. Okay, let's just call it what it is. Sometimes we are waiting for the ball to drop on their heads. We are waiting for something to happen to them. All right, this is what it is. And you're human if you admit that that's what it is. Okay, you're a human being. Nobody likes to be betrayed. Nobody likes for things to happen to them that they don't want to happen. But we have to realize, okay, that is not our job to hold people in captivity, because you're not holding them in captivity. That person is off doing the same thing to the next person. That person is not feeling no karma. That person is not losing no sleep over what they did to you. That person is off doing the same thing to somebody else. So you releasing them is you releasing yourself of that, and you releasing any guilt or any part that you played in that, so that now God can come in and he can free you and he can use you, okay, for whatever he wants to use you for. All right, and so you have peace in your heart. There's a deep sense of peace that you feel once you forgive. You feel like an eeriness, a light, a weight. And every time you do it, it's like another weight and another weight and another weight and another weight. Okay, you'll be surprised how many people how many things you store in your heart. And that's another thing. It can bring sickness and illness to your body. Okay, so you can start to get ill and start to feel sick, physically sick from holding things inside. So it's time for you to let that go. Okay, God wants you healed. He wants you whole. He wants you to be happy. All right, let him deal with whatever was done to you. Let him deal with it. Okay, because we don't get away with anything. The same how you're not going to get away with anything you've done or you've sold. The same how the next person who's done something to you is not going to get away with anything they've done to you or sold to you. So trust. Okay, trust in God. Trust that God's power is much more further than any man's power. All right, and trust that you can be healed and that you can forgive and let go. So I hope this helped. And I'm telling you, once you do forgive, God will start to trust you with more. He will start to bless you in your life. Okay, I'm telling you, he will start to bless you in your life. So I'm Wisdom. This is Wisdom Talks. I'll see you in the next talk.